We're live. All right, once again, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. If you don't know where you are, you're with the fabulous Orange Chamber of Commerce in the beautiful city of Orange. It's a glorious day outside. Anyone enjoying the nice sun today so far? Good. My name is Berkenda. We're going to be here with you for the next 30-ish or so minutes chatting with our city manager, Tom Kisela.
Good morning.
So before we get started, I would love to just give a couple of welcomes. I saw, oh, you're tucked away. I saw a few people I wanted to say hello to, and just if you guys can give a quick wave, because I know it's kind of tight in here. We have our Honorable Mayor Dan Slater here this morning. Thank you for joining us, Mayor. We have representatives from Assembly Member Avelino Valencia, Tina Miller. Thank you, Tina, for coming. We have representatives from Assembly Member Philip Chen's office, Jenna Poffenberger and Paulina Alvarez. From U.S. Representative Young Kim's office, we have Brendan Mueller. And from Chairman Don Wagner, we have Pat Buttress. Did I miss anyone? Okay. Well, with that, today's going to be an open format. I do have some questions I'd like to ask, but you know what? City Manager Tom Kisela is here for you. So if anyone has a question, feel free to raise your hand. I will try to keep us on time, though, so as we're getting nearer to the hour, we'll go ahead and slow that down and close it out. But before we go into any questions, I would like to read your bio. I know everyone here knows you, but there might be some people who are out in our audience. We have members who haven't met you yet, so I'd like to introduce them to you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So Tom was born in White Plains, New York. He and his twin sister Jill are the youngest of 6 children. Tom and family moved to Orange in March of 1977. Tom Kisela has worked for the Orange Police Department since 1986 with a variety of assignments that include SWAT, Special Enforcement Detail, Gang Suppression Officer, Detective Assigned Investigative Burglaries, and Narcotics Unit. In 2000, Tom was promoted to Sergeant, in 2006 to Lieutenant, in 2012 to Captain, and then in 2016, Tom was appointed the 34th Chief of Police. During his tenure as chief, the department became more involved in social media and technology while remaining focused on crime reduction and preparing the future leaders of the department. Tom retired in 2021. How'd that go? And was excited to see his longtime friend, Captain Dan Adams, appointed Chief of Police. In November of 2022, Tom was asked if he was interested in serving as the interim city manager. He assumed the role and began working on the challenges of filling 2 department head vacancies and bringing some stability to the city. In March of 2023, Tom was appointed as permanent city manager by the City Council. Tom attended Cerro Villa Junior High and is a proud graduate of Villa Park High School. He completed leadership training at the Kennedy School of Executive Education at Harvard University. In addition, Tom possesses a bachelor's degree in history and a master's degree in public administration. He is active in community service both as a member of the Orange Rotary and as a board member of the Community Foundation of Orange. He currently lives in Orange with his wife, Debbie, and 2 children, Travis and Ashley. That was a lot.
So I have to tell you about when I was asked to, if I was interested in doing the city manager job. So elk hunting in Colorado, I'm at 9,000 feet. It's about 8 o'clock at night, and it's in a snowstorm, and I'm not supposed to get any cell service. And all of a sudden I'd look, and my phone starts ringing, and I would say, hey, are you interested in maybe doing this part-time? And, you know, here I am. That's the last thing I'm thinking about. And I go, yeah, I guess. I'm not doing anything else right now. And so it was kind of interesting how that came to fruition. But it's been a great job so far.
Awesome. We are so glad to have
Thank you.
Welcome this morning. Before we dive into any questions, I wanted to ask you about that transition. So you were the chief of police for how many years? That was
5
years. And you've been the city manager for about 5 months, but you've been in the position for, it's heading on a year.
Yes.
How did you find that transition for you?
Very different. It's so in my former job, it was something that I'd done for 30 plus years. It's a singular focus. It's providing public safety to the community of Orange. And I had one boss. I come to this position, I now have 7 bosses, And then I'm responsible for all of city services. So the scale is 7 or 8 times what it was. It's challenging, but I will say what's made it easier is the people that work at the city. Where the police department is, we're isolated. We're off-site. We're about 2 or 3 miles away from the city. So realistically, we didn't come down to the city too often unless it's business related. Then you come in, do your business, you go back to work. So I didn't have a lot of exposure downtown. And for me, coming down here and seeing the tremendous staff that we have here, they are workhorses. I couldn't be more impressed. And a lot of the positive things that are happening in the city right now are because of them.
Very nice. Now, as far as you're coming on board, I know we chatted just very briefly as you walked in this morning, but you had some vacancies to fill when you came on board, and I believe you guys are fully staffed right now. So what does that look like? Who are the new people?
Yeah, so interesting. When I came in, it's not like somebody handed me the keys to a smooth running machine. We had some challenges. We came in, we were down a couple of department heads, and so this, each department has a department head, and they're responsible for the functions of their department, obviously. So we were short a finance manager, a community development manager, and I'll speak quickly to what they do. And then I was here just about 3 weeks, and the city attorney said, "Hey, I'm retiring." So, and then I'm brand new, so I'm trying to muddle my way through it, and now we have, basically the top people in the organization of the city that are gone. We started doing a search, and one of the things that we, as a group, decided to change a little bit in our recruitment is a lot of times in these positions we recruit people that are subject matter experts. We're looking for people that, for lack of a better term, know how to turn the wrenches, turn the screwdrivers, but we weren't really focusing on leadership. And so we've changed that focus to you have to have the competency to do the job, but you need to have the leadership competencies as well. So we started focusing on that. Our first individual we hired from Laguna was Russell Budum. He's our community development director. And for all of you that have businesses that try to do work, expand, or anything that requires permits, and quite frankly, we were a little bit behind the power curve on our timeliness of stuff, how we accomplished. We'd just didn't really, we stayed in the past, for lack of a term. We didn't move forward. Russell's come in doing an excellent job. He's brought in a fresh set of eyes, and that's another thing when you bring, it's always great to promote from within, but every once in a while you need to break that and bring outside eyes in, because people see things that you don't see here. You have a confirmation bias from being here for so long that you don't know what else is out there. So we bring Russell in, he hits the ground running. Then we bring Train Nguyen, who's our finance department head. Amazing lady. She came from Ranchos Palos Verdes Estates. A lot of leadership background, accountant, and she is in the process of going through the finance department and looking at different ways of doing things. What's the best practices? Why are we doing this? Why aren't we doing this? And then we bring in the city attorney, who comes from Huntington Beach, who has got a lot of experience there, if you're familiar with Huntington Beach. And he's bringing a fresh set of eyes, and then backing up with myself, who never did this before, so I don't have those biases. We look at different things, how we're going to accomplish them and move forward. And two things that, one of the big statements that we don't allow in the city anymore, and that's because we've always done it this way. That is taboo to say that, because we're looking to expand. And keep in mind, we've got all these people in place. The city is a huge ship, and that's not going to change fast. So the fact that we got people starting to get comfortable in their position, this is a 2, 3, maybe 4-year process to start getting us up to speed, getting people comfortable, bringing in additional employees that were down, and moving the organization forward.
Very nice. I know in the spirit of that, the chamber really was doing the exact same thing. We don't do all the things that we used to do, which is great. And it's a great way to start running an organization for sure. I know that at the last city council meeting, you were going to discuss the city's fiscal health. And I know it was continued to tonight, so yes. I don't want to spoil it for tonight, but maybe you can give us some teasers as to what you're going to present tonight.
I would recommend everybody tonight, just if you can, if you're at home, you can tune in and watch it. Again, so one of the things that when you bring in new leaders within the organization, you want to take a look at where do we stand, and the most important is where do we stand financially. And one of the challenges, obviously there's a lot of private business owners here, and let me throw a question out to you. If your costs went up 30% over the past couple of years, and your income or your revenue stayed flat, how many of you would be in business very long? And that's quite frankly where we are. Historically, as a government entity, we don't like to pass costs through, but our public works costs this year has gone up 30%. That's huge. So look at after the rains this year, fixing potholes in the streets, that costs a ton of money, and our revenues are remaining flat. We're still diving into that, but one of the things that Trang, our finance director, is done is she's a whiz when it comes to this stuff. She is doing a presentation tonight for council. It's one of a multi-part series. In a few weeks, we're going to be looking at a financial plan. But we have to, quite frankly, we have to change some of the ways we do things. We can't keep absorbing costs, unfortunately, without potentially passing them on. Everybody passes on costs, regardless, whether you're small business, manufacturing, whatever. And we have to reevaluate some of that. And those are the tough decisions I'll bring with the staff. We'll bring recommendations to council. They're the policy makers within a city, and we'll look at those tough decisions. But I'm confident with our council that we're going to do the right thing, and we'll move forward.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. One question. So in preparing for today, oftentimes I will go out and talk to different members and ask them if they have any questions. Not everybody can come here at 8 o'clock in the morning or pop onto Facebook and say, see what questions people have. One thing that came up just in kind of going around Old Town was parking. And so one question that came to mind and that was brought up to me was about fire station number 1. So I know around this time last year, the new fire station 1 opened, and it is glorious. It's just a beautiful place. I was able to attend the opening. I'd go there all the time if it was acceptable to hang out at fire stations, but Anybody else want to go?
Yeah, nobody wants to go to police departments. Always want to go to the fire department. Yeah,
I'll go. But so that's open. It's beautiful. It's nice. So now we have the previous station 1, and so I believe that was said to be turned into parking. I know that Overtown, I've been told, has been overcrowded as with parking, and there's more what do they say? More restaurants than retail at this point. It's seemingly, and so they're wanting to know about that parking as well as other relief for parking and management.
Sure. So we're doing a multifaceted plan. First of all, one of the things we're going to do is redoing a traffic study and a flow study to look at we do need more parking, but are we advertising where the parking is? Because a lot of people don't want to walk 2 blocks. And if you get outside 2 blocks, there's additional parking out there, but do people know about it? And I would say they don't. So we're going to try to figure out a way to, there's different ways to communicate where parking is and how to get people there. Also, fire station, we're looking at that. We're going to present some options to council. The building is in such a state right now that it probably costs too much to retrofit it, so the obvious would be to turning it into something useful. There's some timing issues on that, but we do have some funds available should the council give us direction to either make it initially just a ground level parking lot extending north to about mid-block, or turning into a parking structure down the road as the needs increase. One of the other things we're talking about that the chamber is looking at doing, can I say it? Yeah. Is a microtransit. If we can get people to park out there and get them brought in by obviously Anaheim's using it, but using these microtransit companies to bring them in. That way we can get employees to park further out, which will open up spaces for customers. And hopefully that, I'm excited about that. I think that would be huge downtown. and just hoping that we will work. It's going to be a chamber thing, but the city's going to be there to help along the way if there's anything we can do.
Got it. And as far as like enforcement on any of the time spots, do we have anything with that?
So the biggest challenge is when we hire. Yes, to answer that, but it's, you know, our parking control hour. Well, I say our because it's a city, but it's you know, with the police department. I don't want to speak for the chief, but him and I have had conversations. It's a hard position to hire these part-time parking control. It's not super high pay. Most people don't like getting a parking ticket, so you have to be very have thick skin, and sometimes the hours aren't as conducive to other jobs. So it's a hard position to fill. I know they're actively recruiting. They're talking about doing bonuses, and the chief and his team, along with our HR team, are working very diligently. We do get down there as much as we can.
Okay.
And it's unfortunately a lot of times it's just, you know, when you talk about having 25 square miles potentially of a city that can't, it's the old "where's a cop when you need one." That's the old adage, and that falls true a lot of times with parking. But they're out there. The chief is constantly recruiting, and I'm sure that eventually, hopefully, we'll get it all taken care of.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. So before I ask my next question for you, I have a question for everybody here. So who here plays pickleball? Just a few of you? Really? That's it? 3 people?
My wife decided to go play pickleball this morning instead of coming here. Yeah. So it's like, hey, should I go hang out with my husband or pickleball? And guess who won?
Did I choose pickleball over us?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so only 4 of you. I'm so surprised. I feel like everywhere I go, people are talking about pickleball. I don't play. I would love to, but I don't. And that brings me to Hart Park. So last year when we spoke with city manager, there was chat of Hart Park. We have received the grant for the pickleball courts. I know that in April there was a meeting at the community outreach to start talking about what that would look like. Where are we with that now?
So it's going to go out to design. One of the things I've kind of figured out with government on this side, first of all, everything takes forever to do. I don't care what it is. I was talking with somebody. We're talking about the skate park that's going to go in. They go, it's going to take 2 years. I go, it's a pool with no water in it. I go, just go get a pool contractor and dig the hole, and we're good to go. But of course, no. So it's going out to design. Design will take 4 or 5 months. I don't know why, but 4 or 5 months, maybe 6. Then once it does that, then it's got to go out to bid, and there's laws governing how long the bid goes out. Then once we do that, I'm hoping maybe within a year.
Within a year.
Don't hold that to me because I'm always wrong. So, but for me, it's a priority. I think there's going to be 10 pickleball courts up there.
That'd be amazing.
And it's going to be, and the congressman took care of us.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's he was the Correa was the one pushing it and was the one that ended up getting us the funding. So it's great. It's going to be great. And for all of you that don't know, at El Camino Park, they converted a couple of tennis courts into pickleball courts. Yes. So, sort of. Yes. It's better than nothing. Sure. So.
Do you play?
Well, so it depends. I would say, kind of, my wife says no. My first time, I was in flip-flops, so that didn't count. And then we had a department head get together at one of our department heads' house, and they have a pickleball court. And I play the game, but it's fun. It's finding the time, you know.
Right.
I told my wife, how do I get your life? You get to go play pickleball and I'm working, but.
That's the only reason I haven't played. It's like, when do I have the time to really learn something? It's actually learning something new. I don't play tennis, so it's, okay, well, congratulations to your team on the success of reducing the amount of legal street vendors. I also saw, I was watching the July reports, and there was, seems like a bit of traction. A lot of calls coming in. I think well over 100 calls, over 300, bites on the app. But that was in July, so I'm guessing more traction has happened since then. So if you can give us an update on that. One
of the things we ended up doing, so there's been a huge switch in philosophy and so forth in regards to code enforcement. Code enforcement is the new kind of Swiss Army knife of of units in the city. They touch everything. And so our supervisor or manager now, he got promoted, Rafael Perez, which I kind of joke about his name coming from the old being a cop years ago. There's some connections with that, but I'm probably the only one that knows the connection. Has done a fantastic job, and they've jumped in with both feet. And then what we've also done is we've contracted out. We only have about, I think, 8 code enforcement officers now, and they deal with everything from short-term rentals, just about everything, homes, everything code that deals with any type of code they deal with. So they're stretched things. So we went from having a taco stand just about on every street vendor on every corner to down to about, I think, maybe 2 or 3 that we chase around. And it's not just that. Flower vendors. We're going, it's street vendors. It's not just one thing. We're covering the whole gamut. And there is a mechanism. If you want to go down to City Hall and get a business license, a permit, and then go through the health department, hey, we'll support you there. We'll walk you through the process if you want to do that. But they need to do it that way. So if they do go into business, they do it safely. And so that's keeping them busy, but they'll also have to divert to other projects that they're doing in the city, because again, if you call with a complaint or a concern, sometimes that's why it takes us. We're not going to get there the next day. Sometimes it takes a couple of days just because they're inundated with that and these other projects. But we are paying. We did hire outsourced it for 2 additional code enforcement officers, and it's been worth the money.
Very good. Any questions come to mind? I know I've been asking all the questions here. I would love to hear some questions that you all have.
Mayor? No?
So quiet. Okay. Aaron. Aaron had a question.
I'll preface this question by saying, even though I work for Tom, he has no idea what I'm going to ask.
You may be walking back to City Hall.
You talked a little bit about the transition from working in the police department to coming over to City Hall. What was the most unexpected thing or surprising thing that you found working at City Hall?
Good question.
I don't know what it was like before, how busy we are. We typically get to work at 7 and we get off at 6 if we're lucky. And it's just the amount of workload that everybody's doing there. It's amazing, and I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true, but we are just working our butts off. The other day we had 7 meetings in one day, and I have to tell you that Susan, who's back there, who's the assistant city manager, is taking care of the day-to-day stuff that's keeping everything moving. Aaron is our economic development director, so that's something we didn't talk about. Is there's a huge push that we're trying to get for economic development. Try to go out and start getting very aggressive with bringing in other businesses, hotels. We're looking to try to, Anaheim's got OC Vibe. We're trying to capitalize on that and try to get that corridor over there on West Catella. Talk to the business owners, talk to people, try to bring in some hotels, try to bring in some other things, and that's what's keeping Aaron's so busy. And just to dovetail, Aaron, till about 3 weeks ago, was wearing about 10 hats. And now he's down to 1, and we brought on another senior assistant, Jack Morgan, who's doing a great job. And the last piece is we hired a PIO, Public Information Officer. One of the things that we didn't do well, proper English, didn't do well, is we communicated very poorly with the community. And one thing you'll hear from me is we own it. I mean, hey, the buck stops with us, and we own it. So she starts September 5th, and we're going to start right away with trying to acclimate her, obviously to Orange, but communicating. One of the things I thought we did pretty well this weekend with the storm was communicating. And that's, society now, they're information junkies. And they're, and we have we have an obligation to communicate, especially in times like this weekend, to number one, allow the community where to go. If you need sandbags, if you need city services, and in some cases just to calm them down, give them a sense of security. And that's important. So I am very excited. I think she's going to do a great job, and that is one of the key positions within the city, because communication is everything.
That's exciting news.
It is.
I do have a couple questions, Mayor.
Tom, can you give them some updates on the Orange Mall area?
Oh yeah.
So much for softballs. So the Orange, we're one of, when you grew up here, I always call it the mall. You know, and so yeah, it's so obviously everybody knows that there's all different rumors going around and about what are they going to build homes there? Are they or are we going to get a Costco? What is happening? Well, there's a couple of things happening. First of all, let me start with the state level. Everybody knows the state is pushing housing. The state's moving to take more control away from the city, and their argument is, hey, housing, housing, housing. Again, if you look at housing now, housing's pretty expensive. So regardless, I don't know what type of housing you're talking about, because even affordable housing, to me, isn't really affordable.
Not anymore.
But there's options up there. So we have, you know, we're still hoping that eventually maybe we can get a Costco in there. We're not sure. I wouldn't. It's still very fluid, and by no means by my statement, I don't want to give anybody hope. But there's changes coming. There's some companies that, if you looked out there, that have submitted some applications for what's called builder's remedy. That's a state assembly bill, I think. But anyway, it takes more control away from the city. There's want to put some housing up there. We're evaluating. We're pushing back a little bit. Councilwoman Tavaleras has been a staunch advocate for the community up there. She's really embraced. That's her area that she is. She's doing whatever she can that's best for the community up there. So it's kind of a wait and see with that. Walmart is looking to do a 40,000 square foot expansion. What is exciting is the Walmart company is starting a new expansion phase, and they really, if Orange is like 99%, they want to do it. That's going to be one of the first or second ones they told us in the nation. So you're looking at it going west, kind of out towards Canal, and that's going to bring in, you know, obviously a significant amount of money in sales tax to the city, but more of a benefit, variety, and so forth for the community. Anybody that goes to 24-hour fitness up there, they just renewed their lease, so they're going to be there for another, I think, 10 years. So the mall's a busy spot, and you know, we're hoping it's kind of run down. We have some nice businesses on the east side. That Trader Joe's is awesome, and you know, a lot of those restaurants. What's the name of the cookie place? Crumble. So I have to do quick Crumble. First time we heard of Crumble, my daughter goes to school in Boulder, and they had a Crumble there. So that's the first thing, and she was addicted to it. So when you found out it was coming to Orange, it's awesome. But so hopefully the mall. I wouldn't expect anything too soon, but hopefully we can get Walmart going, and then kind of figure out what the owners want to do with it. We're trying to kind of drive it in a certain way, but I will tell you that Councilwoman Tavaleras is a fighter, so she's going to get whatever she wants, pretty much. So,
I love her. Rachel.
Okay, sure. I wanted to bring attention down to District 2, my neck of the woods, where Chalk and a couple of our other healthcare facilities are. Just wanted to share that that neck of the woods is really becoming a healthcare hub, and wanted to kind of just ask, how does the city see kind of that growth in our healthcare space and the future of it?
you know, it's great. I think, you know, for Orange, you've got Chalk, St. Joseph's, UCI. You got these major hospitals. You know, I'm going to say in the country here in Orange. So it's great. You know, expansion. One of the things that you know, for those is in that area, build a support system, whether it be business, you know, hotels or someplace for unfortunately, you know, family members, but it's all going to be us working together and build that ecosystem in that area that supports everything. But I'm excited. It's great. And, you know, both Chalk and St. Joe's are awesome entities, as is UCI.
Thank you for asking that. I did see, was there a question, Angie?
Yeah, I asked it. That was the mayor asked me the question.
Are there any other questions?
Any softballs? Like,
Oh.
Just a quick one. I heard a rumor, hopefully it is true, that Trader Joe's is expanding through CVS. Is that true?
you know, let me give you my answer. Until it's happened, it hasn't happened. That's the best thing. I've heard the rumor. I don't know if there's any there hasn't been any movement on our part. But if anybody would know, it would probably be the economic development director, huh?
Aaron.
So we've heard that same rumor. That's something that obviously we're very supportive of. There's kind of a complex ownership structure going on there, so it's hard to go through that. But yeah, we've heard the same rumor. We think that's where it's going, and that's something we're very supportive of.
Thank you.
Brendan.
I have a quick question about on the east end, the Southern Miller site.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of white trucks driving around on the site. Is there any progress with something happening there? Or?
Not well. I know that there was some. They're going through the LEA with the county on some of the environmental stuff, but I haven't heard anything of that. Boy, nothing easy. One thing though, I would ask. It's interesting because you brought up rumors. A lot of times we're trying to get out on social media, but if there's a question or a rumor, ask me or call staff, because it's kind of the chief and I were talking, and what starts here, people will go off on a tangent, and and a lot of stuff that will come to our desk is, hey, we see this, and this, and it's like, no, that's not happening. Or someone will say, hey, the council only allowed this person to speak for a minute. Well, that's not true. So we're always open to answer questions. I tell everybody the two unique things: the police chief and myself both live in the city, and we've been friends for a long time, and we say that, hey, your problems are our problems, and we get to experience them, and so it gives us firsthand knowledge of what we can do to try to make things better. So, yes.
Is there anything that you're excited about that comes to the city of Orange?
Well, we have a lot of stuff on the radar, hopefully, and nothing that I'm comfortable saying, but I'm excited actually about the change. I'm excited about we've got our pieces in place, and now we can start moving forward and gaining some traction and making some demonstrative changes in the way we do things. Change can be scary. Change can be uneasy, but at the end of the day, in order to move forward and grow the organization and grow the city of Orange, everybody thinks, a lot of people think of Orange as a small little town, and you get a mile and a half either side of the plaza, and it's a 6-lane road. We're a big city with a small town feel.
Right.
So hopefully, when we get these pieces in place, get some changes going, it's going to be awesome. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you keep talking about changes and goals. I was wondering if you could outline what those goals are.
Sure. So again, I've talked about it. First of all, we're a lot of these questions. We have to work on our fiscal health. That's first. Fiscal health. Then we have to bring ourselves up into technology. We're still doing things a lot of time with pen and paper, and that makes it, number one, inefficient for our employees, but also makes it inefficient for the public. If you can go online and get a permit to do an expansion or a building, it allows you to, it speeds up the process, and then we could track it easier. Third is changing the, our belief in going out there and bringing in the economy, bringing in these businesses, supporting the businesses that are already here, making sure that we improve our customer service. Not that it's bad now, but there's always room for improvement, and continue to increase our professionalism. And then I've got a ton of smaller goals that I didn't bring with us, but it's taking those top 4 or 5 right there, building upon those, because again, I don't want to take a shotgun approach and just say, hey, we're going to do all these million things. You got to start with the core values of that. That started with hiring the right people, supporting them, giving them the tools and equipment that it can to do their job, then supporting them from the top down.
We're almost out of time, and so for a last question, I'd like to ask you. I normally will ask, something fun you'd like to do. I now know it's not pickleball, so.
No, I do like. I just don't have the time. Well, and my wife and I are very competitive, and right now I'd probably get beaten into the ground, so I can't let her win. So I'll have to figure out a way.
I might have to seek her out for some lessons. But let me ask you this. So we have so many fun events and things that we love to do around here in Orange, and holidays that are special to us. What's your favorite holiday or special event specifically to Orange?
Tree lighting.
Tree lighting.
Tree lighting. Christmas is my time of year. I really like it. And I would tell everybody, if you go down to the plaza around Christmas time on a Tuesday night when it's not busy, that could be any small town in the Midwest.
Right.
And it just looks
so
cool.
It's so fun.
It is.
Now, as far as who you're speaking to today, it's mostly our business community. Do you have any final words for them, or how can we best help you do what you do?
Well, again, understanding that where you have your business, you want to expand. For example, if you're in a downtown area, it's a historic preservation area, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. There's a lot of state and federal laws that we have to follow, so that slows the process down. The other thing is do we have any contractors in here? So I have to say, because sometimes the city gets a bad rap, and what we try to do is we communicate with the contractors, and at times when we bring the owner in and we say, hey, here's what we told him to do, and it's like, you didn't tell us to do that. And so it's communication. I'm a big fan of communication, effective communication. We try to work with the business community. We try to enhance the business community. We're part of the business community. If you get into again, nobody's perfect. If you get into some people that are very black and white by the nature of their job, their education, and sometimes, life is a gray area. If you have an issue, you can reach out to our staff, the city manager's office, and we're willing to work with you and do whatever we can to try to make it better. We also look for suggestions. We're not the last word in fine dining. We try to come in and do the best job we can. Everybody's committed. But I'll also say sometimes we fall short. We're human. Anybody that tells you they never fall short, quite frankly, isn't being honest with you. But we try not to make the same mistake twice, and we always try to move forward.
Well, thank you so much for all
Thank you.
that you do. Thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome.
I was just going through my notes earlier, and I thought, I think we probably chatted with you the most because we've covered you in several business networking groups. Also here a couple of times, so it's great again to have you again.
Thank you.
I do have some announcements, actually quite a few today. So let's buckle up. So we have B&G, that's our business networking group. It's such a great group. You guys must go if you've not been. It's the first and third Wednesdays, and the next meeting is on the 2nd. We have ribbon cuttings. The 2nd. What did I write that? The 6th. Sorry. Ribbon cuttings. We have on September 7th, Splash and Dash DIY Dog Wash. And on the 14th, we have Electrified Adventures. On August 30th, we have a mixer at Full Circle, one of my favorite spots that's in the circle. Just kidding, in the plaza. Next, Eggs and Issues, we have September 26th, Ken Miller from Orange Unified School District. So please join us for that. And then last but not least, as far as our announcements, we have State of the City coming up. Who's attending State of the City? I'm so glad the mayor raised his hand. Featuring our honorable mayor. That's going to be on October 6th, and that's from 2 to 6 p.m. at Chapman's Musco Center. So please go ahead and purchase your tickets now. It's a great event. The event is inside the center, and then there is a amazing spread afterwards out on the lawn, so you don't want to miss that for sure. I do have an event that was brought in this morning. You guys probably can't see that out there, but the Go Cat for All Gala is coming up as well. That's on October 5th from 6 to 10. Carrie Hummel is here, so if you guys would like to buy tickets, have any questions, she's here sitting right over on the end over there. And with that, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Orange Cafe. We had a great breakfast this morning. I always want to thank our Chairman Circle sponsors, our staff, our board of directors, and our members and community. We will see you next time.
Good job.